right. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Short Stories from the Mind of a Madman. I am your host, Antonio Garcia. I've got another great guest with me tonight. Ruth is going to be joining me tonight. We'll talk to her in just a bit after the intro. But I just want to say thank you for joining us again tonight. Last week, I know we had some technical difficulties, and there's probably a good chance we're going to have technical difficulties on this one too. But difference is on this one, I got it plugged directly into the Ethernet cable, so I'm hoping I get a little bit better speeds. And two, I'm actually recording this episode through the OBS system I use as well, so that even if it comes up choppy where you're seeing it, hopefully I'm going to re-upload it, the clean version after that. So let's see. Tonight we're going over the story of The Photographer. I really like the story. I'll tell a little bit after we get back from the opening credits. But this one right here, people are going missing from the park. When Steve's wife is taken, he must track down the man who is responsible. So Ruth's going to help me out with that voice, with some of the voices there. Some of it's going to be kind of just like, just kind of go with the flow, because I kind of threw some extra characters on her when she first got here. So I like to do that, keep it surprising, keep it fun. But all right, so let's go and get started, and then I'll see you on the other side of the intro. All right, we are back. Thank you for joining me. Again, I'm here with my friend Ruth, who's going to help with some voices. Ruth, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and maybe just say something that you do, like what you do for a living, talk about your family a little bit, favorite kind of beers, whatever. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am Ruth Lanter. I am a mother of 3 kids, been married to my husband for the last 12 years, and moved down to Ohio about, 4 years ago roughly that we moved here.
Well, that recently? I thought you'd been here for a while.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I've known you much longer than that.
Well, you've known me a lot longer, but
right.
We just moved here 4 years ago, and, I work at Modern Entrance Systems, an automatic door company. We've been busy all season, even through COVID.
Right.
So,
yep. I haven't stopped working either. It's crazy.
Plus signs of everything, you know, and my husband has his own business.
I tried to get Matt on here. Matt, if you're watching, what happened, bro? What happened? Oh, man. You come. I told her she should just said, hey, just tell them we're going to come over and drink, not do the show, and just turn it on and say, okay, Matt, you got the next line. Perfect. Let's keep it rolling. Well,
that would have been awesome.
Yeah, that would have been. We'll remember that for next. Oh, great. He's already known down. Great. But anyways, thank you so much for joining me. So I got a couple things to go over just real quick. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe this video, and also ring that bell so you'll get notifications. I do the show every week-ish, as well, along with my short story podcast every week-ish, whenever I can get those out. So, and also don't forget to check out this week's short story that I had published yesterday, Mystery Puzzle. So make sure you check that out as well too. You can go to AntonioGarciaBooks.com to check out, where you can read all these stories, and where you can also listen to the podcast. I'm on iTunes and Spotify and all that. We have a little contest going, not really contest, but I'm giving away some prizes over the next few months. I've got my new book coming out. I got the proof coming in tomorrow to kind of go through it, and then if I like it, I'm going to go ahead and publish it. So expect that to be a giveaway probably in August. I also have some T-shirts designs that I'm working on. I actually have a T-shirt coming in to see if I like it. I'm going to wear it, and if it looks good, that'll be a giveaway as well too. So this next month, though, through the month of July, I am giving away a free copy of my first book, which is actually a weight loss book, Weight Loss for the Rest of Us. I was doing personal training. This came out in 2010. So I'm actually giving this away for free, part of the contest. And if you want to know how to win, stay tuned to the end of the show, and I'll go over what I need you to do in order to get entered to win this, signed copy, and sent that to you. I am also the author of Sins of the Fathers. This book I published back in 2015. So I'm currently working on redesigning the cover, so the second edition will be coming out with a much better cover. I was just first getting into graphic design, and back in 2013 when I published this, or finishing it up, and never really been happy with the cover. Happy with the story, not happy with the cover. So I'm going to redo the cover, so these first editions are going to kind of go away as the second editions come in. So feel free to take a look at my website on that as well. So tell you a little bit about this story, The Photographer. These short stories I actually wrote years ago. So I think what I most remember from this one, I don't remember where I got the idea from the short story, but I do remember, I did know how much I enjoyed making that cover. Doing some of that graphic design, I was really, really happy. Some of the covers I'm happy with. Some of the covers I just kind of put together as quickly as I can, because writing the story, the editing and recording, all that takes time, and creating the cover for each short story takes time. But some of these I'm actually really proud of how well they made out. So I'm happy that came out the way it did. So, all right. So without further ado, we're going to try to get to the store. We got our glasses. All right. Might have to go eat more. We just got started. We might have to take a small intermission at some point to fill up. We'll see how far we make it. I don't know. I'm drinking some Chianti. So those of you that know me, I like drink wine, smoke cigars. Actually, I like Jack Daniel's honey whiskey is usually the one I usually drink on the show. But I'm just in the mood for a nice Chianti. It's like maybe I'll watch Silence of the Lambs later. Smoke a cigar and just enjoy life. So I am going to try to bring it up over here to see if I get some comments. I know last week we had some freezing issues, and I apologize about that. This week we probably still will have freezing issues, even though I've got it plugged directly into the router. I mean, this is Cat 6 cables going right into a Nighthawk tri-band router. So, I mean, really I should be getting pretty good upload speeds. Don't need much for, live streaming, I would think. I've done this before and had to run into this issue. But I am going to, actually no, I'm not going to be able to play the video over here. So I silence it. There we go. I'm going to try to take a look at comments. So if you happen to see this, please feel free to take a comment. Okay, it wants to make me, wants to be funny here. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to quiet that out. So I'm going to try to watch these lives and look for comments and try to respond to you. I know, like I can already tell, like Facebook is kind of freezing a little bit. So I have a feeling YouTube might have the same issue. Instagram would probably be nice. And gotta shout this out. There we go. Instagram, we're going up there. So if you're on Instagram, I won't be able to see your comments, but rest assured, I see your little heads popping up. Feel free to say hello. Let me know what you think of the show and all that. So let's go ahead and now I've got all the screens up. Got the two cameras going. I've got the up here to see if if any comments pop up while we're doing that. Let's go ahead and get into the story. The photographer. All right. Oh, hold on. I gotta get in. I mean, the very first sentence is someone saying something. I don't usually start that way, so hold on a second. I gotta get myself into the correct accent. I try to visualize the character before I do the voices, especially on the podcast. So, I'm a photographer. You mind if I take a picture of you and your family? Simons asked.
Oh, sure.
The mom answered.
Tom, kids, gather around and smile.
Yeah, you already knew she was young. She knows how it works. She's got kids. Get over here. I did make it nice, is right in there too. So you had to put so much profanity that's probably in real life. When you yell at your kids to get in the picture. But I kept it clean this time. Simon lifted his camera, took a quick look around to make sure no one was watching, and snapped the picture. He pulled up the picture on his camera screen, smiling as he examined the picture of the screaming family on the small display. They would look great added to his collection. Before he walked away, he took a quick picture of the giant tree that the family had been standing in front of. He spent the rest of the afternoon walking around the park, taking pictures of various plants and some animals that he thought would look great in his collection. When he was done, he was excited to get home and play with his new toys. Though he had plenty of money from the life insurance that had been paid out when his wife died, he lived in a low-rent apartment in a shitty part of town, downtown. He only needed a place to sleep and play. He never had any attentions to entertain, and where he lived, the neighbors rarely talked to each other, which suited him just fine. He plugged the USB cable into his computer, his smile growing as he clicked on the picture folder and opened his newest collection pieces.
Aw, Steve. Come on, Steve.
Lisa began.
Let's go to the park. It's a beautiful day.
Steve really wanted to just relax and watch some college football, but he couldn't resist her infectious smile. Fine, he relented.
Yay!
See? I knew you'd do a good job. She was all nervous and stuff. I knew she'd come right in and just kill it. Man, she's doing better than I am. I'm trying to get in the zone. She's like, let's do this. I love it. She replied, hopping up and down. That's the one thing you were missing. Steve, that's fine. That's fine. Whatever. I don't want to critique. I just say, I thought I'd maybe just move to costumes at some point too. It's like at some point of the show, people are just gonna get bored coming on here and just reading. I'm like, you know what? Let's do costumes. Let's do some cosplay.
Changes.
You know,
I mean, I
why
can change
wait?
my hair often enough.
Yeah, so why wait till Halloween when you can just come in here and like put on an outfit that represents? I did try buying like miscellaneous stuff to kind of show off. I was gonna buy a little train. I had a fog machine last week for Bus 39, and I it sucks that it like froze because the fog machine I turned it on. And instead of like filling up the whole room with smoke, it just shot right at my guest and shot him right in the face. And then I turned it to fix that problem, and then I ended up just like being engulfed in smoke. It didn't spread out, disperse at all. So, it sucks I didn't get that recorded. I'll make sure I won't do that again. So next time I blow fog in someone's face, I'm gonna make sure I have it recorded. That's my goal. All right, so let's see here. Steve loved the way Lisa loved life. She was always smiling and always wanted to be outside whenever the weather permitted. Living in the Northeast, fall was creeping in, soon to be followed by winter. They walked arm in arm down the street, enjoying the trees changing colors in the sunny, clear sky. Once in the park, they took their time walking the paths, greeting everyone they passed. People always seem to be better moods in parks.
I'm getting hungry and my legs are sore,
Lisa said, stopping in front of an empty bench. I'll go get something from the vendor, Steve replied. Rest here and I'll be right back. As he walked away, his smile faded a little. Lisa had been in remission for 6 months now, but he knew that could change at any time. The only positive that came from cancer was that they appreciated the time they had together much more. He looked back, giving her a quick smile and a wave before he rounded the corner and out of sight. Simon was slowly walking through the park, looking for more people or animals that he could. That's Simon. I'm gonna switch gears here. Simon was slowly walking through the park, looking for more people or animals that he could add to his collection. He knew it was only a matter of time before the police found the common denominator of all the missing people. Soon the park would become the focus of search efforts to find people that he had been taking. While they wouldn't be able to link him to any of the disappearances, he knew once the park began to become infested with police, he would have to pick a different locale to find new collectibles. The logical part of him told him he should take a break from adding to his collection and just enjoy the ones he had until things cooled down. But he couldn't stop. It was like an addiction. All he could think about was finding the next collectible. He was pretending to take casual photos when he noticed Lisa sitting on the bench by herself. "Excuse me, do you mind if I take a picture of you for my collection?" Simon asked.
Sure.
She replied.
What kind of collection is it?
He smiled proudly. "It's a combination of people, animals, and the energy of the park. I've been coming here my entire life, and I find the energy the park provides beautiful." Lisa couldn't agree more.
That's awesome.
Lisa said with a broad smile of her own.
I'd be honored to be a part of your collection.
"Yes, you will," Simon thought. He took a few steps back, raised his camera, and took her picture. His smile didn't fade as he enjoyed the beauty of a now empty bench. Steve returned to where he had left Lisa, holding a hot dog in each hand. Not seeing her there, he looked around to see where she may have wandered off to. He saw a photographer off to the side taking pictures of trees, so he approached him. And this is where I have a small conversation with myself. "Excuse me," Steve asked. The photographer turned to face him. "Can I help you?" Simon asked. "Did you happen to see where a woman that was sitting at the bench went?" Steve asked. Simon's smile faltered. "I'm sorry," Simon said, an unnoticeable tremor in his voice. "I'm afraid not." "Oh, thank you," Steve replied. Simon had never run into this problem before, and he was unsure what to do next. He decided to add the man to his collection. But as he was bringing the camera up, more people walked around the bend. By the time they had moved on, Steve was too far away. Simon considered following him and taking him later, but decided it didn't matter in the grand scale of things. Flustered, Simon left the park, no longer enjoying the scenery. Steve walked through the front door of their flat. While it was unusual for Lisa to walk off without telling him, she often still got tired easy, and it wasn't uncommon for them to walk short. So you can tell how many times I'm messing up, how often in my podcast I got to go back and like edit these sentences. I go back and re-record them. It's tiresome, people. Tiresome. It's that more people listening to them. How much work that I put into my podcast on the editing part. Let's see. Then take walk shorts so she can get home and rest. "Lisa," Steve called out. He walked around the entire flat, but there was no sign of her. He had already called her cell phone several times, but had gotten her voicemail each time. His first instinct was to call the police, but he knew they would just make him wait 24 hours before they could investigate. The air outside had got much cooler as he walked back to the park to look for her. Maybe she went somewhere and then came back, he thought. Once he was back at the bench where he had left her, and seeing that she wasn't there, he tried calling her again, but still only got her voicemail. Screw it, he muttered to himself and called the police.
911, what's your emergency?
The lady's sultry voice came across the line. I had that sultry in there. That was a pretty good accent. That was a pretty good voice you got going on there for 911. 911, not 900. All right. 911. How can I help you? Sweetie. Yes, my wife is missing, he stated. I don't have time to flirt.
And how long has she been missing, sir?
And that's more professional. Thank you. She asked. He could hear her typing in the background. A couple of hours? He answered, already knowing what her response was going to be.
Sir, I'm afraid we can't do anything until she has been missing at least 24 hours.
She confirmed. I know, but it isn't like her, he said. We were at the park. I stepped away for a few minutes, and when I came back, she was gone. He was expecting exasperation, but instead got silence. Ma'am? He asked.
Sir? Did you say she went missing in the park?
She asked. Yes, ma'am, he replied.
Please hold.
She said, and then only silence. Oh, there we go. Now you get to, she's going to try her luck at a male's voice. See how it works. All right. After a few moments, a man's voice came on the line.
This is Detective Andrews. To whom am I speaking?
Killed it, he asked. My name is Steve Dawson, and my wife's name is Lisa Dawson, he answered.
Are you near the park now?
He asked. Yes, sir, Steve replied. I'm actually here now,
Okay, stay there.
the detective said.
I'm heading over now.
I feel like there'd be like sirens going on in the background. And you're like talking, you're like getting your six shooter out. I'm sorry, last week I had the same, it was like 2 weeks ago. I had the same problem, I don't know. This quarantine got me all messed up. Six shooter. I feel like you should be pulling one of those out. Or I should say one with a revolver. Can't mess that word up. And like, I just kind of hear that in the background going on as they're getting ready to come out of the park. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. Before Steve could say anything else, the line went dead. A very long 20 minutes later, Steve saw the detective arrive.
Mr. Dawson?
He asked. Yes, sir, Steve replied.
Can you tell me where you last saw your wife?
He asked. Steve pointed to the bench. There,
Did you happen to see anyone else around at the time?
the detective asked. No, sir, Steve said. Wait, I did see a photographer, but that was after she was missing.
I see.
The detective looked around the area for a bit and then returned to where Steve was waiting.
I'm afraid I've been following a few missing people cases where they had been last seen either in the park or last told they were coming here. I don't know if your wife is a part of that, but I'm afraid so far we don't have much to go on. We have yet to have a witness, and there are never signs of foul play. They're just here one day and then gone the next. I wish I could say these were isolated incidents, but in a city this big, it unfortunately happens more often than not.
The detective explained. Good job, man. I got to just let you guys know these paragraphs can be difficult, especially when you're like just reading it live. So trust me, it's an impressive thing when you're able to like read an entire paragraph of dialogue.
And I got this like 15 minutes before.
And you got this like 15 minutes. I didn't even tell you to be a dude. I'm like, hey, welcome to the party. You're a guy now. You know, and she's like, what? You know, because I sent this story to you. She's the first person I've actually sent the story earlier to her, so she can kind of like review her lines. She wanted to kind of get into the mindset. You know, she was going from the mirror, and she was like just talk to herself. I think that's all I imagine you were doing.
I'm a reader. Like I like to picture characters.
And that's good, because as a writer, I want people to picture characters. So one of the things I try to do when I write is try to find ways of doing that. But so that was very impressive. Thank you. I think now we're done with the detective. No more male voice at all. From her, at least. I can talk to myself a few more times. He questioned Steve a little bit longer, gave him his card, and left. Steve once again found himself alone in the park. A few days passed, and there was no sign of Lisa. Steve had taken time off work since he couldn't concentrate. He spent each day walking through the park, hoping to see some clue that would help him lead him to Lisa. As Steve sat on the bench thinking to himself, he saw the photographer in the distance taking pictures. He didn't think the man had taken her, but there was something odd about his behavior when he had asked about her sitting there. He sat in a way where he could see the photographer, but the photographer couldn't easily see him. What else can I do? Steve asked himself. He watched as the photographer took pictures and then stopped to talk to a couple who was walking by. He said something to them. The couple smiled and then took a couple of steps back to allow the photographer to take a picture of them. Steve gasped as he saw the photographer look around briefly, and then within a split second, the couple vanished. Steve couldn't believe what he had just seen. One moment the couple was there smiling, the next, nothing but air. Instinctively, Steve hit himself. He peeked up and saw the man walk away. Confident that was how Lisa had disappeared, he decided to follow the man. Simon couldn't wait to get back to his apartment. He hadn't added to his collection in days. The man asked about his wife right after he took her at freaked. The man asking about his wife right after he took her had freaked him out, but now he felt it was the time to get back to collecting. He walked, wearing a broad smile and unaware someone was following him. As far as Steve could tell, the photographer didn't even know he was being followed. He didn't look around once and seemed to make a straight line for his apartment building. Steve watched him go into the building and then picked up his pace, not wanting to lose him inside. He peeked inside the door and saw the man walking up the stairs. The front door wasn't... That's the squeak of the door, just so you know she does sound effects too. Good timing on that one. The front door wasn't locked, so Steve was able to enter the building and quickly made his way up the stairs, just far enough to see where the photographer went. The man walked down the hallway to the second floor and approached the door. He turned the key and began to walk through. As soon as Steve was sure he couldn't be seen, he sprinted down the hallway to reach the door before it closed. Simon flew back as something came bursting through the door before he could close it all the way. He fell to the ground hard, and before he could understand what was happening, a strange man was on top of him. Simon looked at the door, hoping someone would see what was happening, but the door was closed. Steve had slammed it closed behind him as he ran through. "Where's my wife?" Steve said, seethed into Simon's face. He purposely kept his voice down so that no one could hear him. Simon began to call out for help before he could. Steve punched him hard in the face. Okay, so you gotta visualize this. I'm on top of myself, and I just punched myself in the face. So visualize that. Me lying down, me on top, me punching myself. There we go. All right, where's my wife, you son of a bitch? Steve asked again. I don't know what you're talking about, Simon replied. I saw what you did with that couple. And I know you did this. I feel like it's like change over to like a kung fu movie now and just kind of go back to the whole lip sync and see if that works for me. I saw what you just did with that couple. You know you did the same thing with my wife, Steve asked again, slamming Simon's head against the ground. Gotta put some. I figure as long as I'm fighting myself, I'll just put some fight scenes in there. And let's see. Simon was sadistic, but he wasn't brave. It didn't take long before he told Simon everything. "She's in there," he said, pointing to the computer. "How do I get her out?" Steve asked firmly. "I don't know," Simon began. "I only know how to put them in." "Why do you do it?" Steve asked. Simon knew there was only one answer. "Because I can," he said. Steve punched him again. For some reason, Simon lost his accent during this whole fight. I've lost track of like who speaks what, so now it's just like one voice. I'm sure maybe I should change the story. Maybe change it to like a Fight Club thing where really Simon is Steve in the end, you know? And really when we go back and look at the flashbacks, it's him taking the pictures. It's him like talking to himself. And now it's him beating his own ass like Jim Carrey and Liar Liar.
That's awesome.
I'm going to go back and watch this, and when I do the extended unabridged, I may just change it. Who knows? That seems like a pretty good ending. And then people can like comment to me like, "You just stole that from Fight Club. You suck. Go back to telling children's stories or whatever." I don't know what kind of insults you give authors. Go back to music. You suck at writing. I don't know. I suck at music too, so I don't tell you.
Didn't he say that about Michael Jordan when he switched to baseball? Go back to basketball?
Kind of, because I don't really remember him doing baseball.
He did.
I remember him saying he was going to switch,
He
but
did.
I mean, they don't really. I mean, they show the whole like him jumping in the air, Air Jordan. But I don't think I've ever seen one where he's like sliding in the third or sliding into home, like as.
It wasn't a very long period.
It was brief.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm showing my age.
I think he's too tall. I think like for baseball, I mean, I just think like people are used to throwing the ball at someone like their own height or like down because they're on a pitcher's mound. And when you have someone that tall, you kind of like now you have to like throw it up so it reaches them. I would imagine they probably get like very difficult to like all the way get. I think it's like 60 feet. I'm like, I'm sorry, you're not baseball height. You're like too tall for baseball. Hey, at least he went to baseball. And I noticed that basketball players are good at like baseball. I don't know why they're good at like ice hockey or,
Like they could take a beating.
I don't know. Basketball can be kind of rough sometimes. A little bit different when it comes to like hockey. I don't know. Those guys do slam each other against the walls pretty hard. So yeah, I guess yeah. And there was a few teeth. I don't know how you do in those photo shoots after the fact. Let's see. All right. Steve, punch him again. and grabbed the camera. Well, guess what? Steve said, only inches from Simon's face. I'm going to put you in there and see how you like it. Steve raised the camera like he was going to take a picture of Simon, but Simon stopped him. Wait. There we go. I'm going back to the action. There we go. Wait. He begged. I don't know. I'll release them. I thought you just said you didn't know how, Steve said. I lied, Simon replied. I lied. Please, I'll release them. I have no idea what nationality. I'm just like making up a generic accent. It could be from anywhere. Italy, Middle East, I don't know. All I know is that I'm picturing him thin, tan, with like a little devil kind of goatee going on. So Full Manchu kind of thing. But now with the Asian accent, but like a European accent going on somewhere over in the east. Ooh, French. Why can't I make that one call her French? Oh. Instead of calling that one, we call 999, like they do in Europe. Because change the whole scenery of where we're at in a dime.
Retake.
Okay, we're going to go and start. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. We won't. I won't subject her to that. Let's see. Reluctantly, Steve let him up. Simon walked over to the computer, took the SD card out of the camera, and put it in the computer. He typed some commands in the command prompt, and then, as you can tell, I'm in IT, so I'm like using some right actual terminology here. The commands into the command prompt, and then took the chip out and put it back in the camera. He flipped through the settings and showed Steve which setting to use to release them. Before he did anything, he flipped through the pictures until they came across Lisa's. His heart sank as he saw her once smiling face was now contorted into a scream. He clicked the button, and in an instant she was standing before them. When she gained her bearings, she ran into Steve's arms.
Steve!
I can imagine, too, as she does that, she does this as she runs towards you. Steve! That's how I imagine all women run to men. I don't know. I've never really had anybody, I think, run to me. I don't know. I never had a woman like run to me, so I'm only knowing what I see in movies. And when I see in movies, they're always bouncing, they always have their hands up in the air, and they're always super excited. Usually, what I've gotten as a reception is usually like, about time. By the time you're here 5 minutes ago, you would have got the whole happy dance. Now you get the whole I'm in a bad mood last night, give me some Chinese food.
Maybe after like 9 shots of tequila, you'll get that from me.
I have 1,800. Of course, now we're already too far in the show. Damn it. Retake! Oh, really should have planned for this much more. But now that I know your acting skills and your voice skills and stuff,
I'm going to do that.
Yeah, I'll be using you a lot more. Now I know she can do man voices, girl voices. You know, the next thing we'll see if she can do what I can do, which is talk to yourself and beat yourself up. She can do that.
Dude,
come on. Next story, it's going to be about a wrestler, and we're just going to, like, right here, it's going to have her, like, pile drive herself. I do have, like a couple punching dummies and stuff I can, like, lay on the ground and I can, like, pile drive and stuff. It's just flowing now. Man, all the great action stories. I don't even know how to write action,
as long as
really.
he remembers it.
Remembers what?
I don't know.
We've already forgotten. What we're talking about? Moved on. All right. My next story shall be a love story. I don't know what we're talking about. Let's see where we're at here. Yeah, you just yelled with the hands. There we are. That's love right there, man. She's excited to see him. Steve returned her hug, but kept his gaze on Simon. He wasn't about to let him try anything. Is everyone you took? Wait, he's mad. He's talking to Simon. Okay. Is everyone you took in here? He asked. Only the ones that survived, Simon replied. Survived what? Steve asked. Simon reluctantly walked to the computer, and pulled up the game application. It was like a battle game where you were able to choose your combatants. Steve looked over at Lisa. Do you remember this? He asked her.
No.
She replied, shaking her head.
The last thing I remember was him taking a picture and then immense pain.
Steve's blood boiled. He filled with the camera settings and without any warning took a picture of Simon who quickly disappeared. Dun dun dun. Lisa's heart momentarily stopped when she saw the man just vanish before her. Before she could say anything, Steve began destroying the computer, breaking every piece, picking them up and breaking them some more. He used his hands for most of it, but he took a hard drive to the table and swung, and using a hammer, he broke it into 1,000 pieces. Let's go, he said, leading Lisa out the door. Steve and Lisa found a vacant part of the park and released everyone one by one except for Simon. The small crowd of people stared at each other, unsure of what was happening, and no memory of what had happened to them. Try imagining like 4,400 type, show. I don't know if you ever saw that show, like 4,400 people from different times, or like taken from the time periods, and they were brought in. I think the show was out like in 2005, something like that. And they all just appeared one day, all 4,400 of them. And I'm kind of imagining that was what they look like.
There was that one show that was on Netflix where, like, you know, you died and then you came back as a ghost, which I thought would be quite freaking awesome.
Spoiler alerts! I didn't know they were ghosts. I know which one you're talking about. It's like when they come back and the people that were like died like just show up one day. I think it must be in the season finale.
I only saw one episode. I just
she doesn't even know. She's like, you're not spoiling. It's just like I saw an episode and I got it all figured out. They were dead the whole time.
I tend to read and watch at the same time, so I might miss some stuff.
I can't do that. I've tried to do that, and I can't do anything and read at the same time because I had to focus. I'll do the same paragraph over and over again.
I think Matt gets frustrated because I go, oh, what just happened? And then
you do that while you're watching TV with your husband? I'm sorry, Matt. How do you stand that? I couldn't imagine, it's bad enough, like, watching TV with someone, they're on their phone, like, on Facebook or Instagram or, God forbid, TikTok. But reading?
Oh, yeah, I tend to do both at the same time.
It's like, hey, I want you to watch Battlestar Galactica with us. It's a great show. Uh-huh. Oh.
Yeah, no, I read.
I try to read, but like one page in, I'm already falling asleep. I can only read for short periods of time. This is about the extent of it.
I finish like a 200 to 300 page book in a day.
That reminds me of my dad. My dad used to be able to do that. He used to be able to finish a whole book in a weekend. So he was like a speed reader, and he'd like sit down, just read. Me, I can't do it. I can read maybe a couple chapters, and then I go back to watching like 13 episodes of the show.
I tend to skip over like when they start explaining the room. The crystal chandelier hung from the I don't even know.
Yeah.
I'm like marble staircase with a wooden beam. I'm like. Really?
Seriously?
Skip.
Filler.
I'm like, really? Like next.
Stephen King's one of my favorite authors, like a lot of people, but he has a tendency of doing that to where his books are like 1,300 pages, and you're like, the story gets broken by as the guy reaches for the door and opens it. He remembers 10 years ago, and he goes back to like 5 chapters of like. It's important. It's character development. It probably pertains to the story because he's like that. But then by the time you get back to him walking in the room, he just opened the door for 7 chapters later. You've already forgotten what he was even doing. I'm like, where are we right now? I don't even know what's happening. And it's
descriptions don't matter.
Yeah, I try to stay away from descriptions as much as possible.
Make a paragraph and be done with it.
Exactly. That's why I like about short stories. Straight and to the point. Sometimes too much to the point. All right, let's see here. Let's see.
Dude.
Then let's go to the park. Blah, blah. Once he was sure everyone but Simon was released, he took out the SD card and broke it in half. Bye, Simon. Throwing half into a trash can and putting the other half into his pocket to throw away later. Wanted to make sure he was not getting back. Everyone jumped when he smashed the camera on the ground. Let's go home, he said to Lisa, leading her away from the dumbfounded group of people. And I'm picturing them hopping as they walked away. Skipping away. Skipping! She definitely start doing some writing. Because obviously skipping makes more sense than hopping away.
I admit I read smut novels like nobody's business.
All right.
So, but best books are when they're from the man's point of view. You know, from the man's point of view.
I should start getting into some of that literature. I do have a surname I write under, which I don't tell anybody, and probably never will. I just want to see if it picks up and people like reading it. But it's that sort of books and stuff, kind of like the romance type books. But I get a lot out of my system, writing that.
I thought about writing one.
Yep. Probably can if you read enough. It's easy for you to put together a story. Oh man, I kind of feel bad for the characters in those stories that I write, man.
So don't drink fast enough, by the way.
I was narrating. I hope you enjoyed tonight's story, the photograph. It looks like we lost Facebook. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if it's still like recording and we just lost them. YouTube, I have no idea what's going on. But I am glad that I did at least record it so I can at least do the podcast. Every people on Instagram, they got to see the whole thing because obviously cellular data is much easier than going over Wi-Fi or Ethernet at this point. So that's just heartbreaking that I don't know. I'll have to figure something out. But thank you so. I know. It used to work so well when I did these shows. I never had streaming issues. So I don't know what changed. Since I started doing these shows again. But just the last couple shows, it's just been choppy, been dropping, and So last week I felt bad because it was a wash. So this week I've got recording. I'll probably go back and re-upload it. But if you are watching live, you have no idea what's going on. Thank you for joining me and being patient. It really shows me that you do care. And Ruth, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And real quick, also the contest we're having. If you want to win a free contest, free copy of my book, Weight Loss, signed copy of Weight Loss for the Rest of Us, make sure that you like, comment, and share this episode. So even if you do it to the one that I'm going to get rid of, I will, write you down because I'll probably go back and re-upload the better version, delete the old version. But I will count, obviously, with this live one. Anyone who likes, comments, and shares, you'll be entered to win a free copy of this at the end of after the first last episode of the month, and I will sign it at the end of the episode, and then I will ship it to you the next day after I message you and get your address and know where to send it. Next month, I hope to be able to give out a signed copy of my new book coming out. That one, Short Stories from the Mind of a Madman, which is kind of based on this series here. I put a compilation of 25 of my first short stories in that. Edited, there'll be the abridged versions because I'll actually be doing unabridged novellas for each of these stories. So this one only being 2,000 words, I'll actually be expanding it to 20,000 words, giving characters a lot more backstory, a lot more character development, a lot more storyline, and then these will come out little novellas. But in their written form right now, I'm putting about 25 in these little series of books that's coming out, and tomorrow I get the proof in. I can actually read through it and make sure I like the cover I designed. I had it all over Facebook and Instagram and all that, so you probably saw the cover. But yeah, so make sure that you continue to follow, and thank you for support. Also, if you would like to continue to support me, feel free to head over to Patreon. Become a patron for $1 a month. You get to see my behind the scenes. I'm starting to live stream my recordings of the podcast, so that's only going to be available to my patrons on Patreon. So $1 a month, and you can see me behind the scenes, how I record and edit these short stories before I put them on my podcast. So let's see if I got anything else I got to do on there. No, next week I'll be doing the story Death Trade. I'll be having my friend Ray coming on. He was supposed to be last week, but he wasn't feeling well, or I had a friend that was exposed to COVID, so we had to get tested to make sure he tested negative before he could come on the show. So he's good to go. So next week he's going to be helping me get through Death Trade. That's a very interesting story. So John doesn't want to die, and when he is offered a choice to extend his life at the cost of another, he may find that the price is too high. So that's going to be a great story. So join me again next week when I have him on board. So once again, thank you, Ruth, for coming on. I love having. This is our first time being on the show too. So this is great because I love having new people on here. I love having my regulars on. I love having new people coming on. So if you want to be a guest on here, please just message me and let me know. I'll be happy to have you on. I've got stories coming up that require male voices, female voices, groups, one-on-one. I'll take whatever I can get. But either way, it's going to be a good time. So again, thank you for joining me, and we will see you again next time. And I'm slowly fade over here and click stop streaming. And thanks again, guys. And
Bye.
I'll see you next week. There we go.